So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom, and just thought I'd do a quick video on basing, or how I do my basing, because every single time I show a video of some of the work in progress I've got, people comment on the basing and how good it looks, and it makes me amazed because it's so simple and quick and easy. And if anybody knows my painting style, anything that's quick and easy gets my vote. So I thought I'd show you how I do it. So first up in the process, here's my figure. It's one of my English Civil War general figures that I've painted up. He's all painted, ready to go, not varnished yet. You can see all I've done, super glued him to a round wooden base, or I suppose it's MDF base, and in preparation I've just put a colour paint around the edge just to give it a little bit of something. But you can see no preparation other than to stick this bad boy down. Next step, got a tub of general purpose PVA glue. I've had this for yonks and yonks and yonks. I bought it from one of the hardware stores, I can't remember now, but you just need a decent strong PVA glue to do. What you do next, get an old paintbrush. This is one of the kid type brushes you get in those painter sets. Just get loads of brush, paint on the brush. Dib, dib, dib. Don't have to be terribly accurate, but just make sure you get a decent coating of the glue. Now, people do quick dry glues. I just found this one works really nicely. Needs to be, needs to be strong. All I'm going to do, fast forward all this. I can work out how to do fast forward, that is. So there you go. He's got plenty of glue. Haven't worried about anything too much. Just slapped it all on. Use an old brush because these get killed by the glue. But with an old kiddie brush like that, I don't really care. Pop the lid back on the glue. You can see I've had this one for ages. It cost me a couple of quid. I can't even remember how much now. Now, secret sauce. Showed this before. This is Luke's APS basing material. It comes in a bag. Somebody at the club, actually, Alex, said, oh, I'm trying to find it, but he had it in a pot. Yeah, I just put it in a pot for ease. It comes in a bag. I think this one, I'll put it up on the screen, but I think it's forest something. And it has some kind of grouting material in it, like tile grouting. And that's the secret sauce. Lots of little stones. All I do, boop. I've got a little spoon here. Oops. Just cover that base. Make sure it's well covered by the basing material. Shake it off, bash it on the bottom. I'm just saying I've got some green on that foot of the foot soldier. Oh well, never mind, I'll finish that off in a minute. There you go. Just tap it all off. Where there's a little bit that's left, bit of areas there that's still not completely covered. Just go back in, put a little bit more. Shake all that off. There you go, can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. Nice covering on the base. Now the only issue, you can still see where the figure base stands out. And this is obviously completely flat. However, with these bobbles and what have you, you get little stones, creates a little bit of texture to the base, naturally. And obviously this stands out more than this one, because this is close packed formation of figures. This being an officer on his own doesn't show, it shows out this sort of complete flatness of it very much. But we'll leave this to dry and then we'll do the next stage. Okay, so there we are. He has dried, glue has dried, the basing material is now pretty firmly fixed on there. In fact, that's one of the beauties about this Luke APS stuff. It just sticks solid. Now, for some people that's absolutely fine as a base. You can barely see the rise of the original figure base. Some of them get more pronounced than others, but this one's not too bad. The only thing for me is that although there's the little rocks in that base, it's still pretty flat, so I'm going to add some extra tufts just to break it up a little bit. And the way I do that is just very simple. I mean, I have a whole box of different tufts. So you can see here I have a big, well, box almost of various types of tufts. And what I try and do, some snowy ones there for when I do a winter project, I just basically collect up, whenever I'm at a convention or if I'm passing a wargaming shop, I'll just nip in and buy a couple of them just to keep them rotating. Similarly, if I see any deals online, some of the scenic people sometimes sell off tufts and what have you, flock on a reduction for a special price, and I'll buy a few and I'll just keep them in the box here, and then I've just got plenty of options to use. I've also got some foamy stuff here, so that's summer undergrowth apparently, and some gravel. There's the same process you can use, for those sort of things. So that's all you do, simples that I buy at different conventions and different places, just to make sure I've got a bit of variety to use. I find just a generous blob, super glue is running out, of super glue where I want to place the thing. I tend to focus around the edge of the original pudding bases, because I just find that's the bit that's the most noticeable, if you like. So I'm just randomizing on doing half at a time, just to allow plenty of time for the thing to so it doesn't soak in. Just put that down for a minute. I'm going to get a tuft off here, go for one of these red sort of flowery ones, and I just stick them down like that. And then for the other places, let's use the last one of this. The last one of these, pop that there. You see all I'm doing is just building these things up. So I've also got some little pebbles. These are little tiny pebbles. I think these came out of some ballast that I had. Doesn't matter where they came from, they are real pebbles, and I'm just going to use them again to break up the overall effect. So stick them down. Oops, use a bit more glue on that one because that's absorbed a lot of the glue, and I want this thing to stick properly. There we go, just stick that down, and let's use a couple of these tufts as well. Just something that gives a little bit of height to the figure, to make it look a little bit, just say, break up the uniformity more than anything else is what I'm looking to do. How much you want to do, it's your call entirely. On this side I'm going to have one, because that bit of pudding base you see there is just showing up. So I'm going to put one there. And I'm going to put quite a bit of glue here because I'm going to use some moss. Like that. Now I've used little bricks, I've used all sorts of things, to be honest. Little bits of wood you can use, little posts, all sorts of different things you can use just to break up and give a bit of interest to the base. And I'll make it appropriate, so there's no point in putting bricks, modern bricks, on an English Civil War a Greek warrior is not going to look right with bricks, obviously. So it has to be appropriate. Let's just use this bit of tuft here. So there we go. Oop. We'll see where we're at. A bit of lichen, I think it's called. Oops, lichen. There we go. Bit of bush. Everyone likes a bit of bush, don't they? I think that's probably going to be more than enough. Now this is an officer, so I kind of don't mind putting a little bit extra on these bases. Let's put that there just to allow the rock to rest on. And there you go. The finished base. And that takes very, very little time to do. Most time is drying time. Most of the effort is in. Oops. Take two. Obviously not quite enough, or didn't allow the glue to set there. I don't normally manhandle them after I've first stuck them down. I leave them for a good while to let everything stick. There we go. Let's stick that back in. So there you go. There we go. Well, give it 5 minutes and I'll be back. So there you go. There's the finished result. Simple as that. And I think the basing is effective. And I just like to use bits of rock. And you see, some people paint their rocks. These are real rocks, right? I've just picked these out of gravel, and sometimes I've got them out in the garden, just little tiny pebbles. They're kind of that right colour already. Now some people, will dry brush them and what have you to accentuate them, but for me, they're rocks, so they're fine. And now sometimes I'll varnish afterwards a figure where there was a rock involved, but generally I'll just leave them as they are. Because I think that works fine. So, I mean, I think the secret is not, and sometimes I'm in danger of this, is don't overcrowd the base. But for an officer like this, who's going to be used as a single figure on a large base, it's not too bad, I think. I just think it gives a bit of variety, a bit of interest to the figure. That's my humble opinion. Anyway, hope you found that useful and interesting. As I did it just because I've had so many people say, oh, I like the basing. Well, the basing looks great. And I thought, well, it's so easy. I can't believe nobody else does it this way. For me, it's the simplest thing in the world. And since I found the wonder that is Luke's APS, I found basing so much easier. I used to spend hours slathering polyfiller onto a base just to sort of contour it and build up the base, and then had to let it set and dry, and then you had to paint it because obviously it was white, and then you could then start gluing, and the flock never seemed to stick, or it never seemed to stick properly on the polyfiller. This stuff, I mean, you saw, did it. I varnished the figure afterwards, which I think helps to seal it in, and it's so solid. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. In the meantime, enjoy your games, have fun, try not to take it too seriously, and I'll see you again soon. This is Dom, signing out.